that sort of transformation in such a short time is the beauty of this work. It's incredibly efficient and it just works. It doesn't require the client to keep going back. Like,
Right.
most talking therapies, people are investing in the process for years. With clean language and with symbolic modeling, it's so efficient and so effective that the changes that the client requires happen in a
Hmm.
session, in one session is
Yeah.
enough.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Clean at Work. Today is the first interview episode of our new reboot, and I'm really excited about it. I got the chance to have a conversation with Azi Khatiri. Azi is a clean language coach who specializes in medics, and she has a remarkably diverse and fascinating background. After earning a PhD in nanotechnology, she spent years as a science journalist and media producer for esteemed outlets like the BBC and Nature, followed by over a decade of work as a community music therapist. Today, Azi combines that experience and her deeply analytical mind with profound empathy as she supports doctors who are in training and getting ready for their exams. And she helps them overcome that exam anxiety and navigate the high risks of burnout and perform at their best. Just a note for these interviews, I can't stand interviews where the interviewer talks about themselves a lot. So I am really intentionally choosing to keep it focused on the person I'm interviewing because the whole reason I'm doing it is because I want to hear about them and their experience and who they are. Because I think the breadth and width of folks that we have using clean language in all these different ways is just really fascinating. And we all bring such different skills and specialties to the practice of clean language and of being curious and finding out what people think and how they think and what's important to them. So, this is the first of hopefully many interviews with some really awesome folks, and hope you enjoy it. Now, let's get to the interview.
Thank you for having me. My name is Azi Khatiri, and I help specialty trainee doctors overcome exam anxiety.
Very cool. How did you get into that?
That's an interesting question. And it has a bit of a long answer, to be honest, because um, it's a sequence of a lot of things that I've done in my life that have ended me here.
Mm.
I did a science degree, I did a chemistry degree back when I was 18. And then I went straight into a PhD. I did a nanotechnology PhD. And
Wow.
then I thought, I quite like to get into radio and journalism. Wouldn't that be interesting? So I went and did a master's degree and got a master's degree in science media production. And I started working at the BBC in the radio department at the World Service, making radio programs, science radio programs for BBC World Service. And then I did some bit of work for Radio 4 and then I moved into television. I did a little bit of television, which was very interesting. So a few years of my life I spent in this world of media with radio, TV, and then I went freelance and did some filmmaking and still in science and medicine and environment. And so I worked with the British Medical Journal for a bit as a freelancer with my friend Martin Freeth. And I worked with Nature magazine, for example, making pieces for them, um, and other outlets. Lots of different bits of work that we did together with Martin as part of his crew, which was fascinating, brilliant time of my life. And then, I mean, we even met loads of Nobel laureates. We covered this thing that Nature does every year in Germany. There's a meeting of Nobel laureates with all of these young researchers
Mhm.
from all over the world. And
Oh, wow.
they would invite us every year to cover this big event. It was fantastic. You get
Yeah.
to sit in a room and like I've gone up the shirt of Zorhausen, who discovered HPV. That's it. Human papillomavirus is responsible for cervical cancer. And so nowadays you get jabs for this. And yeah, so like so this it's been fascinating. Um and yeah, so all of that interesting work. And I then, after that, so, so many years in radio, television, and film and freelancing like that, I then joined a friend of mine who started a community interest company doing community music therapy. So I joined him and became a community music therapist and
My
workshop
gosh,
facilitator.
everything. Wow.
And I did that for what, 13 years, which has been
Oh my
fascinating.
gosh. Oh my
And
gosh.
and like again, the best years of my life,
Mhm.
running music workshops in care homes, in sheltered housing schemes, in nurseries and schools and colleges, and with people with disabilities and pharma companies and all sorts, like
Wow.
different clients. And having done that for a while, I then became really interested in clean language because I met Caitlin Walker accidentally at a festival.
Hmm.
I had no idea she was going to be there. She didn't know who I was. And
Hmm.
I went to this festival. She happened to be there. She was running a workshop on clean language. And I was like, what's that?
Hmm.
So I went along because I was curious. And after an hour she finished, I was mesmerized. I thought, this is fantastic. I want to know a lot more about this. So I spoke to her afterwards. And she said, oh, get this book by Marianne Way. It's called Clean Approaches for Coaches. And so here I am going, Clean Approaches for Coaches. I came
Yes.
back to London and I ordered it straight away and started reading. And then I was fascinated. Then I was like, this is a really interesting methodology. I'd like to
Yeah.
try this out. So then every time I was chatting with a friend on the phone, and they would be, telling me about their problems, which
Hmm.
people do when they chat. I was like, would you mind if I ask you a few questions? I'm reading this book. It's really interesting. I want to
Oh,
try this out. And my friends were like, oh, yeah, okay. So I start asking questions. And at some point, 10 minutes later, we're both sitting there going, what was that?
yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
I had a friend of mine who got to a place where, like, after 10, I kid you not, it was weird. Like, she went, I'm sitting on a boat in the dark, in the stormy seas with my family, and we don't know where we're going.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, I hadn't had any training at that point, so
Right,
I
right,
didn't know
right,
how to really support them
right, right.
further. But just asking a few questions, they got to
Yeah.
that point. And then I was obviously hooked.
Yeah.
A little while later, something really massive happened in my own life. I was super stuck. I had no idea, no resources how to deal with this. And it felt like I had this big ball of tar, dark, big, heavy ball of tar in the middle of my stomach. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was so tense, all of my muscles were hurting. And after 2 weeks of that, I thought, this is going to kill me if I don't do something about it. It
Wow.
was that bad.
Hmm.
So I thought, well, I want to resolve this with clean language, given that I've been reading so much about it and I'm really fascinated. I wonder who's near me.
Hmm.
So I went on Google and went
You're
clean
in
language
London.
practitioners in London.
Yeah.
And guess what came up? Penny and James.
The
Up the
creators of
road.
the book. Yep, that's
Penny and
wild.
James. Wild. So I messaged them and they wrote back and we arranged a set. I said, can I come and see you? I need a session. We arranged a session. I went to their flat in Chalk Farm and about 2 hours, I mean, I lost track of time. I think it must have been about hour and a half or 2 hours later. I come out completely dazed. I don't know what's going on. And in the session, in their flat, this
Mhm.
ball of tar, I went
Mhm.
in with that and I came out with a rainbow river of love
Wow.
emanating from the center of my chest all the way out
Wow.
and to the people that I was really concerned for.
Oh, wow.
I floated home.
Huge. I bet, yeah.
Have no idea how I got there.
Wow.
Went to sleep,
Hmm.
woke up the next day, sat right up in my bed and went, I need to learn this.
Yeah.
This is powerful. I need to learn how to do this.
Wow. What a cool story. What a transformation. Wow.
And then I started my training.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about all of the amazing people that you would have interviewed and worked with as a journalist and as a scientist. And the thing that I love about clean is like how it amplifies the difference between people and welcomes it versus like smushing it down, which it feels like regular world does a lot of the time. So I'm wondering, do you think that meeting all of those different geniuses and like being around them made you more susceptible to like clean more like was there any relationship between that you think?
That's interesting. I hadn't considered that. I mean, I'm always someone who is aware of people's differences,
Hmm.
and I I welcome that. I respect that. I respect that not everybody will agree with me. Not everybody will think the same way as I do. Not everyone's opinions are going to match with mine, and that's okay. And yeah, I hadn't considered whether meeting so many different people in my journalistic career had had any, yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, totally dirty, obviously made up in my head, but I just was thinking about all the difference of all those people and how neat it would have been.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you. Yeah.
everybody's unique. I mean, we know that when, especially when you work in the way that we do with clean language, that really beauty and the uniqueness of every individual just shines through.
Yeah.
It is the essence of what makes each of us us, like how
Right.
we do what we do, like what makes Azi Azi and what makes Sarah
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah. 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 Oh, I love it so much. Yeah. Was there anything that interested you? Like I know you had the incredible experience with your friend and then the rainbows, but was there anything else that made clean especially compelling to you?
I think that experiencing it for myself like that in such a powerful way, that was the clincher for me. That was the thing that made me think whatever these people have just done, like Penny and James, whatever they just did,
Hmm.
that was incredibly powerful. And I want to learn how to do that
Hmm.
because there is so much potential.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was, and also because it felt, to be honest, I mean, that sort of transformation in such a short time is the gift of this work,
Yeah.
is the beauty of this work. It's incredibly efficient and it just works. It doesn't require the client to keep going back. Like,
Right.
most talking therapies, people are investing in the process for years. With clean language and with symbolic modeling, it's so efficient and so effective that the changes that the client requires happen in a
Hmm.
session, in one session is
Yeah.
enough. Then,
Right.
like I say sometimes, I don't want to keep seeing my clients
Hmm.
for years and
Yeah.
years. I want them to sort out whatever they need to sort out and get on with their life. Like,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah, yeah,
go
that's
do what
very
you need
different, I
to
think.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes me think of like when I was in school for my therapy degree, they had short-term focus therapy that was like for surface emergency issues. And then you had like deep trauma therapy that could take years, like you were saying, for it to like work, whatever that means. And clean isn't surface, but it also doesn't take years. It's like a scalpel. It
exactly.
slices
And
deep down, right?
it can deal very effectively with deep trauma stuff.
Right. Yes, yes.
Very effectively.
Yeah. And using the metaphor often if people are metaphoric so that you're not re-traumatizing yourself by talking about what
Quite.
happened necessarily too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have firsthand experience of that too.
Mhm.
I've had trauma that was very disruptive to my life for a very, very long time because it was a childhood situation that happened. And I've now been able to resolve it to a stage where it there is no negative well, there isn't any obvious negative impact. It's not pissing me off every day like it
Yeah,
used to.
yeah, yeah. So in that way, in addition to like the deep healing from those sessions or even the conversation with your friend, has there been impacts to your day to day in like how's using clean change things for you in a practical daily way, if it has?
In my own life.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, so working working with clean language myself on my own stuff in my own development has been incredibly supportive and resourceful for me because I've resolved quite a few issues that have come up. So there was that thing that came up that I went to Penny and James with, but then um, a few years ago I had a relationship breakup that was horrible, horrible for me. Like really heartbroken, really devastating. Like imagine the worst devastation.
Mhm.
Um, and I started working with Marion through that. And so that's now been resolved internally. So I'm now
Yeah.
in a place where I'm able to live my life. I'm not devastated. My heart's not broken. I'm even considering like, am I ready for another relationship? So it's resolved
Yeah. Yeah.
in a way that had I not had this access to really brilliant practitioners that are colleagues and friends that I can go to, and this beautiful modality that is
Hmm.
so effective, I can
Wow.
that is a resource to me. When I'm
Yeah.
stuck, I call someone. Like,
Right.
can I have
Right.
a session?
Yeah.
When something's going on, something's bothering me, can I have a session?
Mm. Yeah, that's a great resource.
It's fantastic. And I know, like, I know that there is support
Hmm.
for me. That if I'm struggling, if I'm stuck, if something's bothering me, something's upsetting me, whatever's going on in my life that's hard right now, I can access people who are brilliantly skilled and kind and generous and supportive, and I can resolve those issues with their support.
Right. Yeah.
That support is available to me, just knowing that, and I use it up a lot. I have sessions from time to time. I get stuck and I'm like, Marianne, can I have a session? Or Penny and James, can I have a session? Or
Yeah.
other friends too. Sometimes
Yeah.
we do exchanges with other colleagues.
Yeah. That's great.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want my clients to realize, that
Uh-huh.
support is available to them.
Right.
Most of the clients that I work with, because I work with medics, they're under so much pressure.
Oh,
They're
yes.
they're struggling. A lot of them are struggling, but they don't say because the environment they work in if they mention that they're struggling, they would be seen as weak or incompetent or not cut out for it, or or other, like they would be concerned about the negative perception of others
Right.
if they
Yeah.
mention that they're struggling.
Hmm.
So what they do is they pretend that everything is fine. They wear a mask, they go to work,
Hmm.
they do the stuff, they put on a
Yeah.
smile, but inside things are bad. Or
Yeah.
when they come home, it's not good. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
really
Fall
struggling,
apart. Yeah.
but they fall apart. But mm, the, unfortunately, the majority of them don't even realize that support is available to them. I
Right.
mean, there was a study that showed 5.6% of doctors would would even mention to a friend, to a colleague, that they're
Oh,
struggling,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
And out of what was it? Out of 70% of all trainee doctors who, so the statistics showed that 70% of trainee doctors are at high risk of burnout or experience burnout during their training. 70%.
Wow.
That's huge, right?
Yeah.
And more than half don't realize that there is any support for them.
Right. Wow. Wow. They
And
probably don't
this
even
is,
realize how bad it is because they've had to squash it down, right? And be strong.
they're having to squash it down and wear this mask that says, I'm okay, everything's
Right.
okay, ain't I great?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just have to sacrifice more. I just have to give up more of this, that, and the other. I mean, yeah, it's hard for them, honestly. And that's what I want them to know, that support is available. If they're
Hmm.
struggling, if they're stuck, if something's going on, if they can't cope,
Yeah.
there is support. And there is support that's, I mean, the work that I do is effective, obviously, as we discussed, is, clean language is effective.
Right. Right. May echo through the rest of their lives in ways that they can't even predict, right? If they figure
Exactly.
out some method that works for them or their own way that they see the world.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like the resources that we build, like, as individuals, like speaking of my own experience, like one of the sessions I did after my marriage broke up was to mend my broken heart.
Mhm.
And literally, like, so this wasn't a one session thing. This was work that we did for probably in the process of 3 sessions. But
Mhm.
in the very last session of that sequence on the heart issue, like my heart literally mended the
Mm.
crack. There was a crack like this in
Uh-huh.
the middle, and it literally came together and did a thing that
Huh.
mended itself.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it felt better after. It felt different afterwards.
Yeah.
The the metaphors, when they're embodied, they are bloody powerful.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to work with medics instead of a different population?
Good question. Well, because I like medics. I like their intellect. I think
Mm.
and I respect the work they do.
Yeah.
And because I have a scientific background and
Hmm.
and this curious analytical mind, I get them. I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand their the way they think, because
Hmm. Yeah, that's how you think.
it is how I think.
Yeah.
And I deeply respect the contribution that they make to society as individuals. What they do is literally saving lives
Right.
is the most beautiful contribution to society that I
Right.
can imagine. And it gives me um, it fulfills one of my core values for service to humanity.
Mm.
because when I'm supporting them so that they are better at
Mhm.
as people, as individuals in their life and as professionals in their work, the impact of the work that I do ripples out from the work that they do into the world.
Yeah.
That fulfills my core value of service.
Yeah.
I provide a service, they provide a service, and then it
Uh-huh.
ripples out. Like every single person that's touched by
Right.
or lives saved by that one doctor that I worked with,
Right.
the ripple of the impact of that work goes to their family, their loved ones, their neighborhood, their community, etc., etc. It's just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, and the other reason is because I've worked with a lot of them. I know them. I know their struggles.
Yeah.
I know what I know what kind of sacrifices they have to make to get to where they are.
Right. Yeah. Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if any medics are watching this and needed help, how would they be able to find you?
On LinkedIn. They can
Okay.
find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'll send you the link to my profile. But Azi Khatiri PhD is, I don't think there is another one. Azi
Yeah.
Khatiri PhD. So,
Right. Anything else that
yeah.
you want to make sure folks know before we end?
Just that support is available. You don't have to struggle by yourself. You don't have to carry it all alone. Just, yeah, if you're stuck, if you're struggling, if things are going south, if you're down, whatever's going on, support is available.
All right.
They can
Thank
reach
you.
out.